just want to introduce our speaker, who I'm very happy to have here, Jeremy Peaches from Fresh Life Organics. That's the name of his business. Jeremy is an agricultural consultant, farmer, teacher, and advocate for underserved communities in Houston. He is the founder of Fresh Life Organic, as well as a Harris County Extension agent for 4-H and youth development programs. A generational farmer, Jeremy not only learned from his family, but also attended Prairie View A&M University, where he received a degree in agriculture. Jeremy's visions are beyond day-to-day farming, and his dream is to create jobs for individuals who cannot obtain one. His goal is to produce a carbon-negative farm that is energy efficient with less inputs. Without any further delay, please give Jeremy a nice big Texas-sized welcome.
Thank you, Miss Yvette. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all you guys coming out here, because I don't think you really grasp or understand the importance of not only one, working in the soil, but two, what's actually going on here in the city and how preserving agriculture can make a huge impact. And I really want to thank Miss Yvette, because what has it been, about a year ago or a year and a half ago, I met Miss Yvette, and I mean, the spirit that she has in her heart and in her mind, not only for community but for agriculture and gardening, is really deep. And we need to praise more people like yourself that really support the food access and food security initiatives in Houston. Well, I don't want to do too much talking, but as she alluded to, my name is Jeremy Peaches. I was born in Greenville, Mississippi. That's in the poorest state and one of the poorest counties inside of Mississippi. My family, how we got involved, and even our name Peaches, was at that time when we were brought here from America. We were farmers. We produced our own food, all right? But we made many inventions that made other individuals rich. So growing up, I always had a passion for agriculture. My mom, a single parent, she came from Mississippi to Houston, and we didn't have that agriculture outlet or that gardening farming outlet like we did in Mississippi. So here, from 1999 on, I always had a strong passion for it. While I was here and while I was growing up, I always shoed horses, rode horses, was involved in community, and also involved in other things that wasn't really supporting our community. But it allowed me to have the opportunity to go to college for agriculture at Prairie View, because it was my passion. While I was at Prairie View, I interned for the USDA, the Forest Service, DuPont, the NRCS. So I built a lot of farms and gardens inside of Houston while I was young. So all of these things that I pretty much worked on from that age to here now has prepared me for what I'm going through. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about today is the importance of preserving agriculture here in Houston. This city was built, especially these neighborhoods were built from people that came all across America that want to come to the big city to have their opportunity. But they came mainly from the rural South because they wanted to build an opportunity. And the first thing that they did was they built gardens, right? So they could feed themselves, so they could feed their family. So building these gardens, even the land that we stepping on, is so important, because our ancestors started building this for us, all right? So what's going on right now in Houston is it's a huge shift, and not even in Houston, in the United States, in agriculture, from the traditional soil and ground to new futuristic and sustainable agriculture and environment. So we have to start focusing on how are we going to preserve, how are we going to build more jobs in these communities, how are we going to grow more food. By 2030, the environment is the fight to feed them. By 2050, it's the fight to feed the environment. By 2030, it's the fight to feed the environment. Stop for a second and think about what's going on in our communities, the cancer clusters, right? Stop for a second and think about what's going on with the water, not only here, but in the climate changes, but all throughout America. We can't feed people by 2050 if the environment is not clean and the soil is not right by 2030. So this is what I'm charging you guys with and myself with, is to make sure that we start investing. Not investing and creating more large farms and doing these things, but investing in these kids, literally the kids. And the reason why I say that, because in America, for the last 50, 60 years, the farmer and the family farm is going away. It's not going to be what we knew. Our families and our ancestors, they had these family farms that sent their kids to college, right? They fed their families. They created opportunities for their community. But now with urbanization and the more building of houses and the more building of communities, they don't want more farms. And you can't really grow the traditional way if their farms are not remediated, which is some of the things that she's doing. So here now locally, some of the things that we pretty much been working on is, one, supporting more farms and gardens, right, inside of these communities. Two, buying from local farmers and local farmers markets. Because when you spend that money with the local farmers and local farmers market, it's not going back into the ag system or to the huge corporation farm. It's going back to the community, to these opportunities. Three, look at all this vacant land in these communities. Look at these lots. How many people can we feed? Or how many opportunities can we bring? A lot. Another thing that we've been focusing on is encouraging people to support the agriculture development districts in Houston. The Agriculture Development District was a legislation that was created in 2001 by Boris Miles. What that legislation was created was to give opportunities and incentives for people who wanted to build agriculture operations, to conserve the state resources through water, through the environment, and through supporting local educational programs. We all know that change necessarily doesn't come with money, it comes through policy first, right? You get the policy, and the policy brings the money, all right? Now let me tell you some other things that's going on. This past year, every 4 years, the Farm Bill comes out, right? And the Farm Bill dictates the money that goes to conservation programs, WIC programs, right? Environmental programs, agriculture programs from land-grant universities, HBCUs, A&Ms. All that money comes from the federal government. Well, they gave the most money in American history this past year to agriculture inside the Farm Bill. What is that telling us? And also they put a lot of money into organic agriculture. They know that this is a need, right? And they know we can't fix that need without technology, right? And without saving the environment. So that Ag Development District is so important, because with all the things that we fighting with climate, with all the things that we fighting with land and also gentrification, these districts that's inside these underdeserved communities will allow us the opportunity to preserve, keep safe, and fight from intimate domain. All right. I'm the 4-H and Youth Development Agent for Harris County. 4-H is the largest and the oldest youth organization in America. 4-H at one time had hundreds and hundreds of projects that kids could focus on, from STEM, entrepreneurship, farming, gardening, and robotics. These programs like this that teach kids how to survive, how to feed themselves, how to clothe themselves, how to take something from nothing and build something, how to actually start a business is so much important as well. I want you guys to do something for a second. I want you to stop and look at all the things that you've done today with all these people. Now look at yourself and stop and think, can I take this home and do this? Can I share this with somebody else and do it? How much empty land does my family own? How many empty lots do I have access to where I can continue to grow food? How many networks of individuals can we promote and push to come to Beauty's Garden, to come to gardens that's all throughout the Houston and Harris County? Think about that for a second. How much land has been sitting? Another thing is, and regardless of race, color, religion, there's some things that we have to talk about. This is the 400th year since we were brought here to America as African Americans to work the land, because they knew that the science and the technology and information that we had in agriculture in these other parts of the country, they have to bring it here for labor and to make it profitable. Well, that day has changed. They don't know what to do anymore with us. They don't know what to do to connect these young kids because it's a disconnect. Right now, you have to understand that this is in your blood. Agriculture, food and water, if we don't have it, we will not survive, right? It's a certain power that we have. No matter what race, color, religion you are, we all have to eat. So what I'm pledging to you guys here is today, do something that you haven't done before. Think outside the box. Shed light on something that you can impact. Another thing, the phone. Everybody have a phone right now. Pull out your phone. If you have Instagram, go to RST Bioscience on Instagram. When you go into RST Bioscience, inside that link, it's a petition to be able to create the first agricultural development district in Houston and in Texas. Also, another thing, my partner and I have pledged to stop focusing on our business for the next month and focus on helping all these urban farms and gardens, mainly in these food desert neighborhoods, and buy their products and sell it to our local distribution networks. That way we can bring funds back to these nonprofits that's doing community programming for the youth in agriculture, that's training individuals who's just got out of jail and prison. Because in another month and a half, the federal government is gonna let out 30,000 people that's in jail, right? So that's jobs, that's labor. That's forced from people who need jobs, not from traditional agriculture, sustainable agriculture, aquaponics and hydroponics. Another thing, build next to the people who really want to see a change. For so long in our communities, we've had the same politicians who haven't been supporting the initiatives that we have from community individuals. Please vote for those who support these programs and for supporting these people in these communities. Houston is going through a huge change and a huge shift. And without your help, without you creating jobs, without you supporting these agricultural farms and gardens, they're going to dwindle away. I want to stop for a second and give my partner an opportunity, a quick 5-10 minutes to explain the importance of what's been going on in this city as well. And also, take care of your senior citizens. Your senior citizens have a wealth of knowledge and information that didn't get passed down to these next few generations that we really and truly need. All right? We have to get this information and pass it down to our next youth and our next generation. If we don't get this information, it's going to be a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom lost and then dwindled away. Rob, can you come here? Another thing before